file everything. Similarly, RAG is also a data structure in the operating system. What is the purpose of this graph? The purpose of this graph is used to know how the resources are allocated among the processes. That is the point you should understand. Here again, you know what is a graph here. In this graph, a set of vertices V and set of edges E. There are two kinds of vertices. Okay, V is a partition into two types. One is P1, P2, Pn, the set of processes in the system, and another one is R. R is R1, R2, Rn, the set of resource types in the system. And two kinds of edges. So two kinds of edges here. So one is a directed edge from Pi to Rj, another one is assignment edge. This is also directed edge from Rj to Pi. So there are two types of edges. What are the two types of edges here? So one is request edge. What is the meaning of this request edge? A process Pi requesting resource Rj, and what is assignment edge? Assignment edge means, so Rj, resource Rj means jth resource assigned to ith process. What is a P? P is a set of processes, and what is R? R is set of resources. So finally here V is partitioned into two kinds, and E is partitioned here two kinds. Here edges means E is two kinds. All are directed edges. So one direction from process to resource, another direction from resource to process. If the direction from process to resource, then that is called request. What is that? That is called request. If the direction from resource to process, that is called assignment. What is that? That is called assignment. So this is the point you should understand from this graph. Here, how the processes are represented in the graph. Process is represented using a circle, and the resource type is represented using a square or a rectangle. So using a box. So inside the box there are some dots. Here inside the box there are some dots. Here inside the box there are some dots. What is the meaning of this dot? The meaning of this dot is instance of that resource. And here we are using a direction, or we are using an edge here, the direction. If the direction from circle to square or circle to box, then the meaning of this direction is request. If the direction from box to process, box to circle, it means that assignment. Pi is holding an instance of Rj. Pi requests the instance of Rj. Here finally what you have to understand from this slide, you can understand that processes are represented using circle, and resource types are represented using box with dots. Each dot represents instance of that resource type. Pi request instance of Rj. Here how many instances? 4 instances. How many instances here? 4 instances. Number of instances in it are 4. Here, how many number of instances? Number of instances are 4. Here, this is a request. Which instance it is requested? We don't know that. It is requesting. If any one instance is available, that instance will be assigned to that process. This is the graph. Now, example graph. Here, if you see in this graph, how many processes? Now, let me explain in this graph here. So, here, what is P? What is P here? P equal to, what is a P? P equal to P1, P2, and P3. And here, what is the set R? What is the set R? So set R is R1, R2, R3, R4. okay, 4 okay, values in the set R. 4 values in the set R. Similarly here, two types of edges we have. One is okay, assignment edge, another one is request edge. Assignment edge and request edge. What is the meaning of this graph here is, the meaning of this graph is, okay, P1 requesting, what is this? P1 is requesting R1. R1 is already assigned. R1 is already okay, assigned to P2. And here P2 requesting R2. R2 is already assigned to okay, P3. Already assigned to P3. And next one, similarly, here one of the instance of R3 okay, assigned to P1. One of the instance of R3 assigned to P2. So here find, is there any deadlock here? This is the representation, and in this representation any deadlock means if any process is unable to continue its execution. So here coming to P3, so P3 needs only R2. R2 is already assigned to P3. First, P3 can complete its execution. Once the P3 completes execution, then R2 is free. Once R2 is free, then one instance of R2 will be allocated to P2. Now P2 required resources are all available, then the P2 can complete the execution. Once P2 completes execution, P2 is going to release R1, then R1 is allocated to P1. Now P1 needs R1 and R2. Both R1 and R2 are allocated to P1, then P1 can continue execution. What is the order to complete the execution here? P3, then P2, then P1. And is there any cycle in this graph? There is no cycle. Here there is no cycle in this graph. If there is no cycle in this graph, so that there is no deadlock. So using this graph, we can identify whether the deadlock is occurred or not. You can easily identify with the help of a cycle. What is the time complexity required? So to find the cycle, so only order of n square. N is the number of nodes. And coming to the second graph here, this graph contains a cycle. Here, if you see here whether the cycle is exist in this graph or not. Suppose here P1, P1 requesting R1, and here R1 is allocated to P3, and so P3 is requesting R2, R2 is allocated to P1. Here cycle is exist. If the cycle exists, so whether there is a deadlock or not, you can identify, or you can find whether the deadlock is occurred or not in this graph. So with the help of this resource allocation graph. In this graph, suppose here P2 needs only R1. R1 is already allocated, then P2 completed first. Then this is free. So here you can allocate this free one to P1. You can allocate this free one to P1. So this is allocated to P1. Once this is allocated to P1, P1 needs R1 and R2, so that here the first process is P2, and what is the next second process? Second process is P1. Now P1 completes its execution. Once the P1 completes execution, what are the resources it is going to release? It is going to release R1 and R2. Then, so P3 needs R2. P3 needs R2. This instance is allocated to P3. This instance is allocated to P3. Now P3 can continue its execution. Why? Because P3 needs R1 and R2. After execution of P1, then P3 can continue its execution. Finally, P4 needs only R2. R2 is already allocated, so that here next P4. Even the cycle exists. Here there is no deadlock. So finally, what we can say, cycle is only necessary condition. It is only necessary condition, not sufficient condition. This is only necessary condition for deadlock. It is not a sufficient condition. It is not. Cycle is not sufficient. It is not a sufficient condition for deadlock. Not sufficient condition for deadlock. That is the point you should understand from this graph. This graph contains a cycle. That cycle cannot give the guarantee for a deadlock. Cycle is only a sufficient condition. Sufficient condition means sometimes, so it may say that there is a deadlock occurred, or sometimes so deadlock may not occur. So here cycle is not at all a sufficient condition. The reason is here the resources, here R1 contains 2 instances and R2 also contains 2 instances. So if the cycle exists in multiple instance resource graph, multiple instance resource allocation graph, cycle is not a sufficient condition to find the deadlock. And here the graph with the cycle and deadlock. Here in this example, deadlock is occurred because there is a cycle. But in the previous example, cycle is there, but there is no deadlock. Once again here, so just interpret it properly. Here where is the cycle? And P1 to R1, R1 to P2, and P2 to R2, R2 to P3, P3 to R3, and R3 to P1. Is there any process can continue the execution in this graph? Definitely no. Here suppose P3 can continue its execution? No. Why? Because P3 needs one instance of R3, but 2 instances of R3 already allocated to, one is allocated to P1, another one is allocated to P2, so that P3 cannot continue execution. And similarly P2, what are the resources required for P2? The resources required for P2, 1 instance of R3 and R1, 1 instance of R1, 1 instance of R2. How many allocated? R1 and R3 allocated, but R2 is not allocated, still it is requesting. R2 1 instance is already allocated to P3, and P3 can't continue execution. P3 is not going to release R2, so that P2 cannot continue execution. Same manner, P1 also cannot continue its execution. Here there is a cycle. Therefore, even multiple instances here, so sometimes the cycle may leads to deadlock. Here there is a deadlock. From these 3 examples, you can find the facts. So what are the facts of so here from these facts, you can find here what are the basic facts on deadlock in RAG. The first basic fact is, if a graph contains no cycles, no deadlock. Even it is a single instance resource type or a multiple instance resource type, if there is no cycle in the RAG, definitely you can simply say no deadlock. And if the graph contains a cycle, if the graph contains a cycle. So here cycle is a sufficient condition or a necessary condition? So according to our explanation, cycle is only the necessary condition for a deadlock. It is not a sufficient condition. So therefore, if the graph contains a cycle, then if only one instance for resource type, then deadlock. What is that? Here very, very important point. What is that important point here? So important point is only one instance. This is very important point. If the graph contains only one instance for a resource, if cycle exists, then deadlock. Otherwise, no deadlock. If several instances for resource type, possibility of deadlock, there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee for it. There is no guarantee for this. Only a possibility of deadlock, there is no guarantee for it. There is no guarantee for it. That is the point you should understand. So what is here? Finally, what are the basic facts? If the cycle exists in the graph, if the graph contains single instance resources, then deadlock exists. If there is a cycle in the graph, if the graph contains several instance resource types, possibility of deadlock, there is no guarantee for that. Why? If for multiple instances, cycle is only necessary condition but not sufficient condition. If there is no cycle in the graph, RAG graph, so we can guaranteely say that there is no deadlock in the system. There is no deadlock in the system. That is, these are the basic facts you can derive from the RAG. Now, summary, what we studied so far from this session. From this session, we studied definition of a deadlock. What is a deadlock? And there are several ways to define a deadlock. Finally, what we are trying to do is, if set of processes set here, the set must contain, set should not be empty. Set should not be empty. Most of the cases, set contains more than two processes, two or more processes. If those processes are waiting for an event, that event never occur in the system. If that set of processes waiting for a resource, those resources are already held by processes which are in that set. So that therefore those processes are those processes are in deadlock. That is the point we derived. And what are the conditions for a deadlock? What are the characteristics for a deadlock? The characteristics for the deadlock are mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, circular wait. And finally, what we have studied, resource allocation graph. Okay. Tell me what is the purpose of resource allocation graph. The purpose of resource allocation graph is used to represent the status of resources allocated among the processes in the system at time t. So here, let me check what is the content you learned and how much you learned with a simple questionnaire. Here, what is the reusable resource? What is reusable resource? So that can be used by one process at a time, and it is not depleted by that use. That can be used by more than one process at a time. That can be shared between various threads. None of mentioned. What is the correct answer? Correct answer is here A. That can be used by one process at a time, and it is not depleted by the use. That is a reusable resource. And coming to the second question, which of the following condition is required for a deadlock to be possible? What are the conditions required for possibility of deadlock? 4 conditions. What are the 4 conditions? First one is mutual exclusion, second one is a hold and wait, third one is no preemption, fourth one is circular wait. So according to that knowledge, what is the answer for this question? D. all of the mentioned. First one is mutual exclusion, second one is hold and wait, holding the allocated resources and waiting for another resources, other resources, and no resource can be forcibly removed. That is no preemption. So if these three conditions are sufficient, any one condition is sufficient, if these four conditions are simultaneously occurred, then the deadlock is possible. And third question is, a system is in safe state if the system can allocate the resources to each process in some order. So in RAG graph, I have explained what is the order to allocate the resources. If there is a safe state, all the resources are allocated to processes in specific order. And what is the next question? The circular wait condition can be prevented by defining the linear order of resource types. So what is the answer is A. And what is the next? Which one of the following is a visual and mathematical way to determine the deadlock occurrence? What is the mathematical way? What is the visual way? Visual way to represent whether the deadlock is occurred in the system or not with the help of RAG. What is the answer for this? Resource allocation graph. So thank you for watching this video.